Hey everybody, welcome to Foxden Equine Live. We're glad to have everybody. When you send us a question, please let us know where you're watching from, so we get an idea of our reach, because I like to know that anyway. So tonight I'm joined by Melinda Zilke, a farrier extraordinaire, shoer of horses. So if you have hoof trimming, shoeing, hoof care questions, Melinda's here to answer them. And of course, I'll be answering questions about horse feeding, nutrition, management, and general stuff. Mostly stuff, anyway.
And anything else.
And anything else that comes along. So please send us in your questions. We would love to have them. Good to see you all. I can't see you. Hopefully you can see me. And yeah, send us on in your questions. Sharing. Any questions yet, Miss Dee?
Do we have what?
Anybody watching?
I don't know.
She'll tell us in a minute. We're trying a new setup.
Fill the air with bullshit.
So we're doing both TikTok and Facebook.
No, YouTube.
YouTube. Thank you. We're doing.
There. What? Oh, that's us.
We're doing both YouTube and TikTok. That is the theory. So please let us know which platform you're typing us in questions from too. So again, so we could get a feel for how this is going. This is all new, experimental, and it may cause crash and burn, but it may be wonderful. Who knows? Technological, yes. Technology is great when it works, and it's a PIA when it does not. Waiting for Miss Judy. Well, hopefully send us questions. So I hope you're all having a great evening. It's a beautiful day here in Virginia. It's been a lovely 3 days, in fact.
Nice, cool weather.
Nice, cool weather. Sun is shining. It's just gorgeous. If it could be like this all the year round, we would be in paradise. Of course, we have to have the winter to remind us of why we enjoy the summer, and we have to have the summer to remind us of why we actually secretly deep down inside enjoy the winter.
Is nice.
Fall and spring are nice, yes. So it's been a full day today, and it's just been fantastic. And I was doing some gardening and battling with the spotted lantern flies. I think I'm winning. I don't know about that, though they seem to have reinforcements. Yeah. So yeah,
I just got back from a trip. I was gone for almost 3 weeks. And so today I rode the 3 3-year-olds who have had the last 3 weeks off, and they all were really good.
There was a little deferalization going on since one of them, Nerwin, decided that she had never heard of humans riding horses, and she didn't understand what this was about. But she did come around.
She has a mind of her own. Anyways, it doesn't matter if I rode her yesterday or 3 weeks ago.
She still has opinions about things.
Reaper says, nice zebra.
Thank you. Yeah, he's a lovely zebra. He is a fiberglass copy of a zebra, a wooden zebra that was on a wildlife merry-go-round in Estes Park, Colorado, back in the 30s. Obviously, this is not the original zebra. This is a copy of him. And a friend of mine who's an artist in DeLand, Florida, painted him for me. And she did a beautiful job. I love him. He's great. You can sit on him. I don't usually, but he is supported such that he could be sat on. Small children have sat on him before now.
Vaughn 64th says, hello, aunties. How are you guys doing?
Hello, aunties. Aunties.
Nephew Vaughn.
Nephew Vaughn. Are you actually a nephew of mine? Because I do have three. I have three.
I have one nephew, but he's young, very young.
Yeah. So, yeah.
How old are your nephews?
Okay, my nephews are 30, 20 and 30. 20-something, 23, 4, 5.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because George is younger than Jake is the youngest, then George, and then Maxwell is 30.
Maxwell's the one who fucked off to Ecuador?
Basically, yes. He's the one who went to Ecuador. He's still there.
So they were born like in the 2000s?
Something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Reaper says, "Come on now, you have to sit on it." The zebra.
The zebra. Oh, I'm not sitting on him in. Yeah,
I've
no.
never sat on it either.
No, we don't usually. He just sits there in his glory in the corner. Yeah. Yeah, I had to haul him back from Florida in my horse trailer. You should have seen the guys' faces when we crossed the Florida state line and they come out and inspect the trailer. And there's one of the bays in the trailer, you know, there's 2 horses, and then the third bay has him. And the crossing guard looks at him and goes, "You have a Coggins on that one?" I said, "As it happens, I don't. You know." He said, "I'm going to have to impound him then." So yeah, it amused them highly that I was hauling a plastic zebra home.
Okay, we don't have questions yet, but
Yes,
can you talk a little bit about soy?
soy, one of the wonder plants of the world. Soybeans are a legume. They're grown principally for human nutrition, and they're one of the main sources of vegetable protein in the human diet. Now, we don't eat as much soy here as they do in, say, Asia and some other parts of the world, but soy is regularly grown for human consumption. In the United States, what we do mostly with the soy is grow it for oil, soy oil. And then what's left after the oil has been extracted is called soybean meal, because they cook the beans, they grind them up, they compress them, they extract the oil, and what's left is soybean meal. And soybean meal is a high protein mixture, and it's used in animal rations. That's because it's a waste product. So of course it's used a lot in animal feed. It's used in all classes of livestock, including horses. And it's very commonly, along with alfalfa, the most common vegetable protein supplement that you would get from animals. So that's soy. Now, soy oil is a whole industry unto itself. It's sold as oil. It's also the vitamin E is extracted and the vitamin A. The biggest producers of soy in North America are a company called Archer Daniels Midland, ADM. And I usually would christen them as, you know, soy purveyors to the universe. They probably, most of the soy that's grown here is under contract to ADM. Vast amounts of soy are grown. I mean, you know, millions and millions of tons. We sell a lot of soy, or we used to sell a lot of soy to China back before someone introduced tariffs and the Chinese said, no, thank you. So, you know, we export soy, we grow it, we export soy oil, we export the vitamin E, we export the byproduct. Soy is a multi-use plant. Like corn, it's not just grown for the soybeans, it's grown for things that can be produced from the soybeans. Did you want any more than that?
Why do people say they won't feed soy?
Who knows? It got a reputation for being high in omega-6 fatty acids, and all the purists decided that it therefore must be poisonous. The fact that animals and people have lived and eaten and survived eating soy for hundreds of years never seems to occur to anybody that actually it's a lot better than not having anything to eat. But there are those in the horse nutrition world who complain about soy. Now, the big problem with soybean meal in the horse nutrition industry is because of the advent of low carbohydrate feeds. We're understandably concerned about high intakes of starch and sugar in some of our insulin resistant and EMS horses. The easiest and cheapest way to make a feed low in starch is to make it high in soybean meal, because soybean meal has next to no starch in it. So that soybean meal began to be added in quite considerable quantities to the horse feeds and to the rations, and so much so that they were actually getting more than they should. And that did lead to some problems with the soy, with the animal's health from overdosing soy. But as long as it's fed in reasonable amounts, it is a very useful and good feed.
Moderation.
Moderation in all things, as the Greeks said. Except wine. No, moderation in wine too. Any other questions?
No. So here's our issue. So it looks really good.
Right, but no one can hear us.
No, it hears awesome. It sounds awesome. And you are on YouTube, I just checked.
Okay.
And you are streaming on TikTok, I just checked.
But no one's watching us.
No, we just have like a couple people on YouTube and then nobody on TikTok. And
Okay,
so-
tell your friends. We're on live. We're here to answer
Well,
questions.
My thought is that maybe because we're using Restream, it's not notifying people.
Okay.
Because usually
because it's not straight from TikTok.
5 minutes in, we'll have like 40 people on TikTok.
Okay.
So
So what do you want to do?
Reaper has a good question. So my thought is I'll still continue it on here, but I might set up my phone to do TikTok.
TikTok.
As well.
Okay. Separately.
Reaper says, what do you recommend if they have a fat liver?
A fatty liver. That is really a question for your veterinarian. Now, nutritionally, the way you handle a fatty liver is you would have a low-fat diet. You would feed more fiber and not so much fat. Now, horses don't eat a particularly high-fat diet in the first place, so it's pretty hard to be stringently low-fat on a horse because they're already there. It's very different with human diets. The question would be why they have a fatty liver, and would need to know a lot more about the horse, its age, its type, what led up to the diagnosis of a fatty liver. So you could get us some more information and I could try to answer it, but my answer would probably boil down to high fiber, low fat.
I was just going to say, I've never really heard of fatty liver in horses.
It's very, very unusual in horses.
Because
It's not like humans.
obesity.
No, it's not obesity. It's an inability of the liver to handle incoming fat. Now, in humans, you get it because we eat a diet that's 30 to 40% fat. So there's a considerable amount of fat coming in from the GI tract. But horses, a 10% fat diet is high in horses. And so most horses have a 5 to 6% fat diet, which in humans would be considered impossibly low. Yeah, we would not eat a diet that was 5 to 6% fat. So fatty liver is very unusual, and therefore I would wonder why he has a fatty liver.
Something else going on.
Something else is going on, and it might require some veterinary intervention. Get yourself connected to a good vet, and they could give you the answers, I would think. Sorry, I would love to be more helpful, but I can't. Oh, Dee Dee's setting us up here with a phone for the TikTok.
Now I just need someone else's phone. Preferably Melinda's.
Why?
Because you're not logged in as her.
Oh, you need to check.
Oh, yeah, if you
I don't have TikTok or anything.
Oh, you don't have TikTok?
No.
Oh, well, not how many you say you.
I have YouTube.
So yeah, send us in your questions, equine nutrition questions, anything to do with horses, really. I can talk at length about horses interminably. Extreme boredom for most people. So yeah, send us in your horse questions. Hoof care, shoeing, Melinda, everything else me. You can ask Melinda questions about training too. She knows something about horses, so that's okay. You can
A little
ask
bit
her.
here and there.
A bit here and there, yeah. Melinda is actually the registrar for the Trichina Association. So if you have questions about Trichina horses, Melinda's the one to ask. Do we have action?
And the Trichiner annual convention is in Virginia this year in October.
Right. Any of you are Trichina fanatics, come to the horse center. The Virginia
Or you can
Horse
just come
Center.
anyway. We
Or
have
just
stallion
come.
inspections, mare and foal inspections. Every year the Germans from the Verband come over for our annual convention. So they're the judges.
Right. The Virginia Horse Center, which is a beautiful facility in Lexington, Virginia, in easy access, straight off of I-81, exit 195. I've been there many, many times. And it's a lovely facility, and it's huge, and it's got lots of room, and it's really a nice place to show horses. So yeah, it's a good place to have it. Is that the microphone for the TikTok? You want to put it here, or are you going to flip it to one?
Just try it here, and hopefully people
Hopefully
can hear.
hopefully people can hear it. technology, you know, we're still working out how to get this live onto both platforms, and we're having technical questions. Yes, ma'am. Can I what?
Well, no, it's okay. Reaper said he's an older boy, a bit spoiled. He has a fat liver, like I said, and an inflamed gallbladder.
Okay, he's an older boy, so just go for a high fiber diet. So you know you can feed him. Don't feed him any kind of grain. Just feed him hay, good hay, and a mineral balancer pellet. And milk thistle is reputed anecdotally to help with liver. There's no science behind it, but the herbalists will tell you milk thistle is the thing to give. And you can buy it as a powder from purebulk.com or from various suppliers of herbal remedies.
Is that the same as milkweed or no?
No, milkweed is different from milk thistle, I think. I would have to check on that. Because one of them is eaten by monarch butterflies.
That's milkweed.
That's milkweed. And I think milk thistle is different. Look, Google and see if they're different or the same. So many of these herbs have the two names or they're the same name.
Milk.
Reaper says he's also smart and purposely lazy.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, he's not a fool. What breed is he?
Oh.
Does it say the same thing?
It's different. Yeah. This is actually a thistle with like the pokies.
And then the other one is not. The other one is like a
milkweed.
Queen Anne's lace.
Yeah.
Milkweed. What breed is he, Repro?
Reaper.
What is his name?
Reaper.
Reaper. Sorry.
Grim Reaper.
Grim Reaper. What breed is he?
Repro.
We'll find out.
Are we now on TikTok?
We are.
All right.
And I think there's actually a problem with the count.
Oh.
Because there's quite a few people that have joined and it says we have 0. But there's someone liking our stuff, so.
Okay, so it can't be.
Yeah, so I think it's just weird.
Okay.
Okay, why don't you talk?
Yeah, Collar Popkiss commented on your video, so. Oh, no, my old video, not a new one. Not alive.
When Reaper gets back to us, in the meantime, why don't you talk about eggs?
Eggs, of course, a huge controversy. We put the video up about eggs on TikTok. You didn't see this because you were in
I didn't have
Norway.
service.
You didn't have service up on that mountain in Norway or Iceland. The thing to remember with eggs is you're not going to feed quantities of eggs to a horse. If you feed any at all, it's not a recommended feed, but it is a useful extra supplement in specialized cases. And, you know, you can use egg whites or whole eggs as a protein and fat source. So don't give it to your horse, Reaper. But the egg white is almost entirely protein. The yolk is a mixture of protein and fat. You can feed raw eggs to horses. They can digest it.
Do they eat that?
That is the question. Some horses eat it fine. Some horses don't. So all you can do is offer it, see if the horse consumes it. My recommendation is that you mix it up, you kind of beat the egg, you mix it with some grain, and you give the horse it mixed with grain. Now, it's used sometimes to boost the nutritional value of feeds for foals, for pregnant mares, for sick horses. It's not a standard horse food supplement. And I'm not telling you should run out and buy eggs. They cost too much money. But someone who keeps chickens might have eggs that they can't sell, and then they could use them for their horse if they wanted to. The other thing to remember is that you're not going to give very much. You're going to give 1, maybe 2 eggs to a horse per day. Your horse is somewhere around 1,000 pounds. An egg is 2 to 4 ounces. You're not going to overdose a horse with 1 or 2 eggs. That's not going to be a problem. So, you can feed eggs. They're not a usual feed. They have been fed successfully in the past, and many people used to do it in the old days before we had all these various protein supplements available. The only way to boost the protein in a horse's diet was really to feed it eggs.
You do have a lot of people on TikTok. Can you ask them if they can hear us?
People on TikTok, can you hear us? Please let us know. We're having technological issues, and we're trying to make sure that we're We're visible and or audible on both platforms. We're on YouTube as well as on Facebook, TikTok. So we'd just like to make sure both. So please, TikTokers, let us know if you can hear us.
Sydney says yes, and can you ask Sydney if it's is it loud?
Sydney, is it loud enough? Can you hear us clearly?
Reaper says, I'm not entirely sure of the breed. For a while, he was a mix of mud tattoo. Yes, loud and clear. Okay, so
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
Do your followers generally tell you if they can't hear?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have so many. It's so interactive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
That's what I was gonna say. Like
they let us know.
other people I watch online, if they're like muted or whatever, the whole chat is like, "You're on mute, boomer."
Yeah, us boomers, we need these millennials to help us straighten out this technology.
Well, yeah, I just think that I don't know. I think I'll have to investigate why Restream
Wasn't notifying the TikTokers.
No, because like I said, like we don't go for 10 minutes and have 0 questions.
Right, that's not known. So send us in your questions, people. We would love to hear from you. We're happy to answer them. I'm joined here by Melinda Vilke, who's our farrier extraordinaire. I've got a long list of horses to shoe around here because she's been
Oh my
away
gosh,
for 3 weeks.
Yes. Catching up. I'm still catching up.
Right.
Oh,
So, yeah.
we need to do Katie's.
I did her just before I left.
Yeah, but she needs them again.
Really? She was long when I did her too.
Right. She's growing feet fast.
She's gonna be
Everybody's growing fast right now, though.
Yeah. Heat and wet and too much good grass.
She's tender on the gravel.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Mm.
Jackie Ray has a question. Horse is ulcer prone and has to have Banamine 3-ish days. What's the best thing to give for stomach?
The best thing to give the stomach, you need to put calcium ions in the stomach to help minimize the damage from the acid. So I would feed alfalfa if you can. Now, not all horses can handle alfalfa, but if you can, feed alfalfa. You can add Tums to the diet. You can add, calcium carbonate tablets sold as antacid tablets for humans. Give them 4 or 5. You can get the peppermint flavored ones. Some horses like the cherry flavored ones, but, experiment a bit. And then the other thing you could do is add a little bit of oil or corn oil to the diet because the fat coats the stomach and that can help protect. But the best thing to do is to feed calcium, either in the form of alfalfa or in Tums. Tums, that's a commercial antacid tablets. That would be the best thing to say.
Sydney asks, my horse's hooves have been chipping a lot in big chunks. Besides hoof oils, what else can I do?
It kind of depends. Like here in Virginia this summer, all the horses' feet are just falling apart because it's been really, really hot, really, really humid, and we've had thunderstorms like almost every evening. So I don't really think hoof oils do anything. The best you can do is maybe just like keep rasping a little bit to like round them off and get rid of the bigger chunks. Other than that, just like normal, regular hoof care, because you're not really going to prevent like chipping. If their feet are a little bit too long, they're going to chip. They just do.
Yeah, pay attention to the trim.
And like if you're anywhere where we are, like in the mid-Atlantic or Southeast, like it's just, that's what's going to happen.
Right. Interestingly enough, wet hooves do not do well in wet conditions.
It's much better to be like in dry desert conditions.
So one of the things you could look into, and I don't know if this is possible for you, but try to get where the horse comes out of the wet for a period of time every day.
Mm-hmm.
If he could be in a stall.
Especially the morning dew. The morning dew is really hard on their feet.
Yeah, if you can get him into a stall where it's dry, make sure it's not wet, it's that you've mucked it out, and they can stand on a sawdust or wood shavings.
Something that'll dry them out.
Something that'll dry them out a bit. 4 hours of the day or 8 hours of the day. That would help reduce the moisture level in the foot.
She said, I moved to a new barn, so I will see a new farrier and the horse will be in a stall now. And she also says, okay, then I feel better about it. I'm in South Carolina.
Oh,
Yes. Oh,
it's
yeah.
hard. I
It's
I
hard.
worked in Aiken for 2 winters, and like in the wintertime the feet are better, but in the summertime, like man, you cannot keep shoes on and the feet just fall apart. It's the high heat and the high humidity and the dew and the grass that's really hard on them. Especially if you have a horse with like marginal or less than marginal feet.
If there's already problems with the foot, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not going to help any conditions. But move to the high desert country of Arizona.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Or to the frozen north.
Right. Get out of the wet, hot and humid south.
Any questions?
Questions, guys? Keep sending them in, and let us know if you can hear us. And also remember to let us know where you are. We'd love to know where you're sending questions in from.
And are you riding when it's been so hot?
Yeah. Well, the last
I
3
had-
days they can
Yeah,
ride.
well here.
Yeah. But yeah, the last previous
I felt a
weeks,
little bit bad going away for a trip, but then again,
No,
I
you
was
didn't.
like,
You love the fact that you were in 65
it was like
degrees.
60 degrees. It was
Right.
nice. I
And
felt bad leaving the horses and not riding them, but now I'm like, well, if it was like 90 something every day.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been wanting to ride them
No.
anyway.
Jackie Ray asks, what can you do to help a horse to grow more heel?
Grow more heel, you're gonna either grow more foot or not grow more foot, and the heel
Grows along
it
with
can grow down or it can grow forward. So if it's growing forward, they usually have way too much heel, but it looks like they don't have any heel. So you need to address the whole hoof shape, if that's the case, because like you want heels to be short. You don't want them to be long, but you don't want them to be underrun, which look short, but they're actually way too long.
Right. And if you want to grow more hoof, nutritionally, the 3 things you give are high quality protein, biotin, and fatty acids. So whey protein, biotin, which you could get on its own or you can find in some supplements, and then fatty acids. They're the main ingredients for the nutrition of feet. Oh, and minerals. You want copper and zinc and magnesium. Good quality supplement is the best way to do it. Of course, the one I recommend is Linpro, but that might be because I make it. So yeah, more
But some
questions.
horses always seem to grow a lot of toe, like, and sometimes
Yeah.
that's just their conformation, and that's just something you have to keep on top of and not let their feet get too long ever.
In your experience, what breeds generally have the best feet?
Mustangs.
Arabians generally have good feet, if as long as you like. There's certain bloodlines that have club feet, but they have good feet. Morgans generally. Although I've always worked with like the general purpose Morgans, not like the saddlebreedy kind, so I don't really know what they have.
Mustangs. Mustangs have good feet.
Some yes and some no. So it kind of depends. A lot of the Mustangs they're mixed with a bunch of different breeds.
They're not really a breed, no.
Yeah. You get some that are like really, really drafty, and then you get some that are like much more quarter horsey. And then some that are just like real mutts.
So more questions.
I would say a lot of warm bloods have generally good feet if they don't have too much thoroughbred influence in them.
Well, there's selection for good feet. I mean, in theory, in warm bloods, if the feet are poor, they don't get a high score.
Hopefully,
hopefully they're not bred from.
But a lot of people, even in the warm blood inspections, they don't really know what they're looking at feet. They're not obviously picking up the foot and actually looking at it. They're just looking at like the whole horse and just the outside.
But they're not choosing horses with like tiny feet. And huge
No,
bones.
purposefully breeding horses with minuscule feet.
Yeah.
I heard that back in the day, thoroughbreds had good feet.
Oh yeah, once upon a
Probably.
time, yeah. When horses were used as beasts of burden, they had to have good feet.
Yeah,
Because if
or
they didn't
survive.
they didn't survive. The ones with poor feet did not last very long, and they were culled out of the herd pretty quickly.
And the thing with modern thoroughbreds is that they really only have to survive to be like 4 or 5 years old and race relatively well. And their feet they can hold up when they're that young. It's when they get a little bit older
Right.
that their feet don't hold up much anymore.
So yeah, we make this a problem for ourselves by selecting horses without consideration of the soundness of their feet. We go for the one that ran the fastest, even if he had to have glue on shoes.
Yeah.
That's
when they're 3 years old, like sure, their feet are good because they haven't been pounded on for 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Messica says, my Arab has the best hooves. I've been battling WLD and laminitis issues for far too long with my AQHA.
Right. Yeah, that's a problem.
Well, laminitis Arabs can get laminitis too.
But laminitis will ruin feet.
Yeah. And then cause the white line disease. And that's just a tough battle.
It's a bad combination, right?
Are Arabs prone to any real issues?
You want the list?
I don't mean psychologically.
Well, you've got lavender foal syndrome. The problem with Arabs,
they have genetic
Arabians
disorders.
have a lot of genetic disorders, and this is the same reason that quarter horses have, is because people don't outcross enough and breed relative to relative because they want some exaggerated feature that they think is beautiful, and it nothing to do with the soundness of the horse. And they produce these animals that are genetically not superior, they're genetically inferior, but they have some feature like the dished face or the tiny feet or the huge double muscling that they have decided is beautiful. And it has nothing to do with function, form to function. That's why my joke about the Mustangs is Mustangs with bad feet don't live very long. So the Mustangs that make it to adulthood, the Mustangs have good, strong feet because there ain't nobody out there looking after them. So, we bring those problems in on ourselves by breeding animals with known genetic problems, and particularly when we breed them back to relatives.
But I have to say, Arab breeders generally still breed for good feet, other than the club-footedness that's in some lines.
Some lines, yeah.
They don't breed for tiny little feet on big bodies or anything like that.
Are all of the genetic disorders that they have testable?
No,
not all of them. Most of them are.
I think most of them, because they're finding new genetic tests all the time.
Year, constantly.
And but there probably are also genetic disorders that nobody really knows about yet.
Right, there's some we haven't pinned down yet. But we're learning more and more about the genetics of the muscle disorders.
And there's more and more research going on too.
A tremendous amount of research. University of California, Davis is a big source of information. Those of you who are interested in learning about it, go to the Cal Davis website. They have all kinds of papers. They do a lot of research on genetics.
And you can send in your horse's hair, and for whatever it costs, they can test for so many things. And they have tests too for like the quarter horse breed and the Arabian breed and other breeds that have different genetic diseases that they're prone to.
So the Cal Davis would be the site I would go to. Cal Davis.
The genetic diseases in horses, are they typically? Do you realize that they have one pretty early on in their life?
Depends on the disorder. If the disorder
totally
manifests itself early enough, yes. But if it's one that doesn't manifest itself until the horse is aged, no. So, for example, malignant hypothermia is a muscle condition that manifests itself before the foal is 3 months old. It's nearly always fatal. That's why malignant hypothermia, MH as it's called, is rare in horses, because the foals don't live. They die. So if they die, they're not around. So, you know that they're not going to make it. The problem is if you keep breeding that sire or that dam and they've had a malignant hypothermic foal, you need to check to see whether they're a carrier of the gene. A lot of these genes, there's two, on the chromosome, there are two chromosomes, one from the mother, one from the father. And if both chromosomes, both genes on each chromosome code for the same problem, that's what we call the homozygote, then it can be manifested very quickly. But if you have one coding for the problem and one not coding for the problem, it's what we call the heterozygote. That can take a long time to show.
Or
Because
if at all, because
if at all.
sometimes carriers have no symptoms
Right,
of whatever disease
whatever
it
it
is.
is. They have one gene that's coding normally, and that keeps the animal alive and functioning and doing what it's supposed to
Normal.
do. And normal. But the problem would be if that animal was bred
To
and
another carrier.
and the foal inherited the deficient gene from either parent. So that's where some of the genes are so deleterious that they manifest early, and some don't manifest until much later. So, for example, there's some argument that the gray gene is a problem because it leads to melanomas. But the gray gene is not obviously present until the foal is a few years old. I mean, you see it, and when you know what you're looking for, you can see the symptoms early. It isn't really deleterious early in life. A lot of gray horses live
Mostly normal.
Normal lives. They just are statistically much more prone to melanomas and tend to statistically die younger than other colors.
Did you hear about the vaccine?
Vaccine for melanomas? Yeah, there's some work done on that, and now we're still waiting to see if that's successful. But yeah, and that's the other joy with the research. We learn about the disease, we learn what causes it, we learn how to deal with it, and we learn how to prevent it.
Like pink skinned horses, like horses who have a lot of white on their face, or maybe pinto colored horses, they don't get the same melanomas, but they get something else.
It's a different genetics. And the interesting thing with white in horses, the color white, which is absence of pigment. So remember, I recognize that in horses you have no pigment white, you have red pigment, and you have black pigment, and that's all you have. There are 14 alleles, that's places on the chromosome that code for color. Of those 14 alleles, 7 have code for white. So there are 7 different genes coding for white in horses. Some of them, gray horses, the G gene, has melanoma problems. But the W ones, W5, W20, W whatever, they don't code for melanoma, but they do code for white. They don't code for the whole body being gray. They code for white patches or markings, so you can have white legs, white face.
I'm just saying, like, they don't get the normal melanomas that grays get, but they they can get like
different problems.
Is it a sarcoma?
Sarcoid,
or something?
Yes, they get a sarcoma. And then you can have problems with that medicine hat paints, where there's a problem with melanin. They can be deaf.
Yep.
And they don't have enough pigment, because the pigment is melanin, and melanin is also a neurotransmitter. If you have no gene coding for production of melanin, you don't have a living organism. So, for example, albino horses that truly have no melanin do not survive. They're born dead because there's no melanin to act as a neurotransmitter. So yes, you get it depends whether it's a gray horse or a white marking. And a white markings are different genetics. And some of those genetics have a problem and some of them don't. So like W20 and W5, I think, are safe, and then W4 is not. Anyway, so it's a complicated, there's Phil Sponenberg wrote a book about coat color in horses, and that's worth a read if you're interested in the genetics of coat color. Are we still absent questions? Gesundheit, yes.
No, there's plenty of people on. Tell them to ask them.
So ask questions, guys. We want to answer them. Otherwise, we'll just run our mouths, and then you'll have to listen to us.
That's fine. Why don't you talk about, I don't know, any interesting research papers you've read? Or
I haven't. Well, I don't know that I read anything relevant to horses recently. Let me think. To think what I read so many different things, and then they all get jumbled up in my mind, and I have to think about which one said what. There was an interesting paper, a study on kissing spines out of Italy. They looked at jumpers. They looked at jumpers at the 1.5 meter level. So that's what, 4 foot?
1.5, yeah.
1.5 meters. So that's a reasonable height. And they graded the horses on their flexibility over the jump, the bascule that the horse did when it jumped. And then they x-rayed them for kissing spine. They assessed them for soundness. They talked to the riders. again, they found no correlation between the presence of the spinous processes being too close together and unsoundness
Pain,
or
yeah.
on pain. But on some horses, there was considerable pain, and those horses had damaged their vertebrae. Now, whether the damage of the vertebrae was due to them being close to each other or due to something else, because these were older horses. So, the origin of the damage was not always 100% clear. But again, this is more evidence that the radiological finding of spinous processes being a little too close does not necessarily correlate to the presence of pain and interference in the way the horse goes. In some cases it does, in some cases it doesn't. So maybe we need to keep looking at this and find out more and, about what causes it and why and this kind of thing. So that was one paper I read. I'm trying to think, there was a couple of others. There was a paper about the difference in the dentition between perissodactylia horses and ruminants, ungulates, but I don't think that was really relevant.
I haven't read any papers lately.
She's been stomping up and down mountains in Norway.
Yeah.
Whatever. Hey.
Didn't look at a horse for 2 weeks.
That was probably very refreshing. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully you send us some more questions, guys. We need to hear from you all. Or let's just let us know you're there.
It's a ghost town tonight.
Ghost town tonight, Dee Dee says. Isn't there a little heart or something you can hit the hearts or the roses or the thumbs up or whatever?
Maybe people are enjoying the cooler weather.
Yeah, maybe hopefully you're out enjoying riding your horses in this lovely, lovely evening. I hope that's the reason.
Although if you're in Florida, it's still just hot.
Is it still hot in Florida?
I think it is.
Okay. Anybody on from Florida? Let us know what the temperatures are down there. Yeah, we'd like to know more. There is an interesting new piece of development in the horse world. The Danish Equestrian Federation, I think I've got it right, have banned the use of double bridles in lower level dressage.
I read about that. What do they mean by lower level, though?
Well, that's an interesting question. They below Prix Saint George.
Okay.
So third and fourth level, and which fourth level is preparing for Prix Saint George. So it's a little questionable in the fourth level. In third level, I could see that maybe you don't need to have a double bridle on a third level horse. Though I've had a third level horse, I was so glad to have the double bridle on him. But
that's why it's optional for us,
right? For us,
but nobody goes in a snaffle.
Well, some do.
They do.
And more and more these days.
So rare.
It is rare. It is rare, unusual to go in a snaffle at third level.
I did.
You did, yeah.
I did
on
too.
Cullowen. She did not need a double bridle.
She still doesn't have a double bridle. She's doing fourth level and she's still in a snaffle. Yeah.
Dr. Waters says, howdy.
Howdy.
I ride with no saddle, no bridle. Horses are my pets.
Good. Hey, fun. I hope you have horses that don't have developed withers because they can get a little uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. So double bridles banned where?
Denmark.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, the Europeans. Like the Swedes won't let you wash your horse's legs. They want cold water on the legs.
What?
Yeah, that's Sweden.
I haven't heard that one.
Mm-hmm.
You can't wash your horse's legs?
You can't put cold water. You can wash with warm water.
Oh.
But you can't put cold water on the legs because it's just
at a show.
Wherever. I'm not sure whether. I'm assuming it's at a show. Of course, they don't deal with the temperatures we deal with. I mean, when you come in,
it doesn't get that hot there.
It doesn't get that hot there. So here, the whole horses actually like the cold water on their legs and their body because they want to cool down. I guess
well, and you want to they have big studies about how hot tendons get when they're being worked too.
Yeah.
With boots or without boots.
The logic was that horses were distressed by having cold water on them. And I guess it was a cold winter's day when they did the study. I mean, I don't know.
On their legs, it shouldn't matter. I mean, that's different than putting cold water in their whole body.
Right.
Dr. Waters says, I'm in Ontario.
Ontario,
Oh.
Canada. All right. Welcome. Good to hear from you. Excellent. Yeah.
That's interesting. What other interesting rules are there?
Oh my God, there are so many weird and crazy rules around the world, so crazy. And then a lot of it is regional things, so such as in England, you have to deal with the fact that so much of the riding that goes on occurs on the roads. And, they're out there on the roads with the traffic. And that in itself is a huge,
Yeah.
and
narrow roads.
Narrow roads. And, the traffic wants to move too fast. And so there is a rule about having reflective equipment on your horse, which is makes it visible. Well, of course, and then one of the interesting things when I was first coming to the States, if you sell a horse in England, one of the things you advertise a horse with is whether it's traffic proof. Is it good in traffic? No one in America ever asks that question.
No.
Because they never,
very rarely.
They wouldn't be riding it in traffic. They're like, you would be crazy to get on the roads around here. So they're not worried.
Like where I grew up in northern Wisconsin, all we rode on was the roads, but they're nice and wide and they're straight and you can see.
Were they asphalt or dirt?
Gravel. And not much traffic. But occasionally you'd have traffic. So the young horses would be a little bit spooked sometimes. Or if you get a huge truck flying by maybe, but something that we got the horses used to and it wasn't a big deal.
Jaguar Steel asks, what's your opinion on products like Buteless pain supplements? I feed one called STP, Stop the Pain pellets.
The problem with most of those products is lack of scientific validation. All the evidence they have is anecdotal. I fed my horse pellets and the horse stopped limping. There's no peer-reviewed gold standard studies where you got a bunch of horses and half went on it and half went on a placebo, and you graded them for lameness at the beginning and you fed them a known amount and then you graded them for lameness at the end. That kind of study just hasn't been done. And so we don't really know. They might work wonderfully, but there's no evidence. All we can do is try it and see, and it may work on horse A and they may not work on horse B. And so that is part of the problem. And then the company selling the product, of course, tells you about horse A. They forget about horse B. So my question with all of those products is always, I'd like to see the data. And I'd like to see it, a proper review, a proper analysis, a study before I would recommend one. But that doesn't mean you can't use it. It doesn't mean it doesn't work on your horse, but it does mean it might not work on someone else's horse. So yeah, that's the problem with them. It's not that they don't work, it's that we don't know whether they work.
Okay, Dr. Waters has a lot of comments.
Is he the one in Ontario?
First, yes. First, that's very brave to ride on the roads. And Dr. Waters says, I wish it were more horses, less cars, and horse and buggies and trains. Horses are like moose. I find humans don't keep enough forest for them. And they ask MSM. What about MSM?
Methyl sulfonyl methane is it's a compound which is useful for feeding biologically available sulfur, which is part of hair and hoof growth, and a lot of other structural proteins. It's a good source. You can overfeed it. If you overfeed it, the manure will smell of hydrogen sulfide, which is a rotten egg smell. So you'll know. You don't have to be asked if that one horse has been overdosed. MSM is a useful feed supplement in certain circumstances where the sulfur supply in the diet is too low. People talk about it for soundness and what have you. Remember, what it's doing is it's helping structural proteins form. So those could be the proteins of the joint capsule, the proteins of the cell of the tendon, the proteins of the hair, the hoof capsule. So it could have its effect just by making better, stronger tissue. And so it can be useful. Just understand that what its limitations are. It's not a painkiller. It's not going to affect the pain but it is going to affect the integrity of the tissue that is forming at the time it is fed. How are we getting things from the YouTube people?
Sorry. No.
No one on
But
YouTube?
it looks good though. It looks good. And we have
Okay.
2 people on.
Two people, yay!
Okay. Dr. Waters' response about the forest. They said, yeah, we need to sell things that would be in a forest. My horses love raspberry leaves.
Okay.
Thank you, like a collagen. Oh, about the MSM.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, collagen is a structural protein.
Jaguar says, personally, the Buteless didn't work, but the STP did, but it has almost triple the number of active ingredients.
That could be, the dosage is another issue, and that's the other problem with a lot of these non-medical products is, the dosage varies enormously. And without some kind of quantification, when you do the study, you need to know how many milligrams of whatever it is you're using you give per kilogram of body weight or whatever. So when you just buy something off the shelf, it could be, very strong, or it could be diluted. You don't know and that is the problem with them. It's just lack of information. No, they're not standardized. Yeah, we don't know how many. When you buy a thing of bute, it's standardized. They know exactly how many grams of butazolidine there is in each tablet, and how many grams you need per kilogram of horse to have an effect. So,
Tanya has a question.
Okay.
Sure. How do I prevent proud flesh? My horse cut herself, and I don't want it to develop.
One thing to do is to keep it wrapped. Now, it of course depends where she's cut, because some parts of the horse cannot be wrapped. You clean the wound thoroughly. You put your Neosporin antibiotic cream, and then you wrap it. Proud flesh occurs when there's no pressure. So if you put a pressure wrap on until the thing seals over, and then you gradually remove the wrap. The other thing to do is to use a therapy laser to heal it up faster. Lasers tend to stop proud flesh. You can get one of those little red lights, that the various makers sell, UV light. The other thing is peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide tends to stop proud flesh.
Vets don't like you to use peroxide anymore.
Vet hates the peroxide, yeah. Because unfortunately, peroxide it stops the proud flesh because it actually kills the surface layer of cells. So it could be the cells that are doing the healing, you're killing them. So the peroxide is the last thing I would use. I might use a pressure wrap. I would certainly use a red light.
Dr. Waters says, thank you. I'm going to put the chickens away and call it a night. Good to know. Peroxide is the old way. That's great advice.
Right. Peroxide is the old way.
We used peroxide for years and years and years
And
on us and on the animals and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Why did it go out of fashion?
Because it's so damaging. And, the modern medicine doesn't like it. If I was stuck between peroxide and nothing, I would still use peroxide. It does stop a lot of infections.
Tanya says, thanks. She cut her back leg and I keep it wrapped. When I found it, I used peroxide. And then after that, I just put betadine and honey on it.
Right? That would be the way to do it. And keep it wrapped until it heals over. The best thing that inhibits proud flesh is skin. But a red light would help if you had an infrared light, one of those little LED red lights.
Dr. Waters, they haven't left yet. They said, yeah, and with the peroxide, we healed well.
Yeah.
I know. Remember mercuric chloride? I mean, geez, before peroxide, we had mercurate. And that stuff stung when you put that on a wound. Oh, my God, you knew about that.
We used peroxide, like when I was a kid, we used peroxide on ourselves all the time.
Oh, yeah, I still do. I still do.
Tanya says, thanks. It's still pink and looks smooth.
That's good. Then you're fine. Well, if it gets lumpy and granular, that's when you've got to be watching it.
Jaguar says, I still use peroxide, especially the first time I clean something. Then I go to iodine or betadine.
Yeah.
Right. Well, all of those are to
I
a
use
degree
peroxide
corrosive.
if there's like a tiny little bit of like pus or infection. I feel like peroxide helps with that.
Well, peroxide flushes it out. Yeah.
Betadine is surgical scrub, though. I mean, it's going to get it out.
Or Novosan is another one you can use. Chlorhexidine.
Yeah, chlorhexidine is good. And you can get that at some drugstores too.
And if you use betadine or iodine, don't then use a laser. Those
No?
two do
Why?
not go together because it enhances the action of the iodine and you'll actually have cauterize the wound.
Oh,
Yeah.
did not know that.
Which could be a benefit in
Yeah.
some cases.
In some cases, but you need
Depends
to know
on
what
what you
you're
want to
doing.
do.
Right. Don't use peroxide. Don't use a red light and betadine or iodine. If you're going to use a red light, just use Novosan or soap.
Oh, Tanya has a good tip.
Mm-hmm.
She says if you want gauze to stick to your wrap, you can use a period pad.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yep. They're
We
very
used to use
useful.
diapers.
We used to use diapers, kids' diapers, particularly for feet. Yep.
SS asks, what is your first choice on a fresh wound to wash it out?
Fresh water,
Mhm.
the hose,
Yeah, just plain water.
plain water. Only if it's got pus or exudate or things coming, or if stuff is coming out of it, would I use peroxide. I
Yeah.
would just use plain water, clean it as best I can, pat it dry with a clean towel or paper towel, and then put the triple antibiotic ointment on it. And if possible, wrap it. If you can't, you
Yeah.
can't. But
If it's fresh, I mean, hopefully you will
yeah,
not
peroxide.
have any pus yet.
Should not have pus if it's fresh.
Tanya says, see, I use clean water and betadine to clean.
Right. I wouldn't even bother with the betadine. I just use clean water initially. I wait until there's a sign of infection before I start putting iodine or peroxide or anything else on it.
Jaguar Steel says, good to know to never use the laser because I use chlorhexidine.
Yeah. Don't use a laser with iodine. I've done that. I made that mistake.
And
What
cauterized the
happened?
wound.
It got really nasty.
Oh,
It was on me. I had a wound on my hand and I cleaned it with some betadine scrub and I thought I'd washed all the iodine off. I got home and I cleaned it off and then I used the laser and then, yeah, not good to combine them. Probably the dog.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So how many people do we have on YouTube? Does it tell you?
2.
Two.
still two.
You still watching us? Let us know where you're from. I think there are. You can. Can they send comments?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I was talking to Reaper for a while.
Oh,
there.
Reaper was on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but TikTok is just, we just have more followers. Too.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're known on TikTok. We're not known on YouTube. We need to build our empire.
Fonzie's Farm Rehab and Sanctuary. We are in Chico, Texas.
All right. How hot is it down there?
Yeah, really. And Tanya says, what age is a good age to breed my mare? She is 4 this year.
Fine at 4. The breeding of young mares. Here's the way it works. Before the age of 3, it's questionable. If it's an exceptionally well-grown 3-year-old, I will put a 3-year-old in foal because it's going to carry the foal and foal out at 4. So the chances of damage are less. But if under 3, definitely not. 4 years old, no problem. What you're trying to think of is, you're putting the mare under metabolic stress and she is still herself forming bones. So you think, a really well-grown 3-year-old, yes, I would put her in foal, as I say, to have the foal at the age of 4. But I would not put a 2-year-old in foal.
Jaguar says, well, at least you didn't have an angry horse to kick at you from the cauterizing.
Exactly. It was me. I cussed a lot and I said a lot of ugly, naughty words. It hurt.
Fonzie's Farm Rehab says, in Texas, super hot and humid.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Do you have any advice for a navicular horse regarding supplements?
Navicular is more to do with how it is shod and handled, the way the biomechanics of the foot, how it's trimmed. Nutritionally, not a whole lot. Painkillers would be the main thing to try, things that enhance circulation and reduce pain. Magnesium would help with circulation, maybe a painkiller, NSAIDs. But you're not really going to affect true navicular by what you feed them. You're going to
and there's such variability in like how much damage has happened too. There's
Right. And those who claim that the low sugar diet cures navicular are not actually dealing with a navicular horse.
yes, I've never heard of
They're
that.
dealing with a horse who actually has laminitis and they're thinking it's navicular.
Oh, that's different.
So that's different. So true navicular, which is arthritis of the
Navicular bursa
navicular bursa,
or damage in the navicular bursa that
is not.
I mean it you can have damage in the navicular area that is causing the horse pain and they're going to be sore.
Right. And that's really not handleable by nutrition, except, as I say, extra magnesium to improve circulation and hope that that helps.
We will find out next week. He's a new horse to our rescue.
Okay.
So,
So she just doesn't know. Tanya says, how do I know if my mare goes into heat?
Well, now most mares show pretty obvious signs. They get cranky, their backs hurt, they
You have to
swash their
watch them.
tail, they have to watch them, they pin their ears at everybody else. Depending where you are, I would definitely check with your local repro vet and have them, they can palpate
and scan them.
and scan them and see what state the ovaries are at. And it makes breeding a lot smoother and easier if you know where they are in the cycle. You're not just going by their behavior. So I would talk to your vet about an ultrasound scan for her heat cycle. She'll check the ovaries and see where they are, whether there's a corpus luteum, whether there's an egg developing, what the status is of the ovaries.
I used to do a lot of breeding and artificial insemination too. So by the time the mare is showing that she's in heat, like you want to breed her that day. And if you're trying to order semen, it's usually too late. So that's why we always had the vets scan the mares, because then you know what size her follicle is and you can gauge like how fast it's growing and when you should be ordering semen. But if the stallion's on site, then you might not need to do that.
Right. One of the things to remember with animal breeding is you want one insemination equal a pregnancy. That's
Ideal.
ideal. You do not want repeated inseminations. So you should get it right first time.
Tanya says, my mare is always grumpy. And
That's the problem. Yes.
Yeah.
they're in Manitoba.
Manitoba. Okay. I would talk to your vet about having an ultrasound scan done.
Yeah, because then you can at least gauge. You can be like, okay, she might be ready in like a week or 2 weeks or whatever, rather than just guessing.
Right.
Tony Killingsworth is on YouTube.
Tony Killingsworth is on YouTube.
Well, yeah, he's our one viewer, so we should say
Oh, hey,
hello.
Tony. Hey, Tony.
Okay. Jaguar Steel says PEMF therapy or BEMER could help with circulation and the pain from navicular.
That is possibly true. I have never actually used it. I've used a laser and reduced the pain that way, and I have heard people say that the PMF boots help. We don't have any, so I haven't been able to experiment and find out. But if you want to send me some, yeah, I'll do the experiment.
We'll try it.
We'll try it. I've got a
We do
navicular horse. Yeah.
Here? Or is
Yeah.
what you're talking about?
Yeah, Rohan.
Oh,
Oh.
well, she lives outside. Doesn't
Right.
do anything.
Well, right. But,
Fonzies asks, do you have any advice for super moody mares?
I would,
Give them lots of treats and kisses.
yes.
I don't think that's how that works.
Raspberry leaves.
Chocolates.
Raspberry leaves and magnesium would be the thing I would try and see if they helped. Raspberry leaves do have an anecdotal, again, not scientific, anecdotal history of helping mares cycle with less anxiety and bad temper. We sell it in the form of a product. We used to call it Maraleave, and then we got in trouble. Balance EQ, we call it now. No, not
What
Balance
did you call
EQ.
it?
Maraleave.
Marilee.
And then the makers of Aleve told us we couldn't do it anymore.
Cease and desist.
Cease and desist. Right? Stability and Stability EQ plus. One is stability is raspberry leaves with magnesium. Stability EQ plus is raspberry leaves, magnesium, and tryptophan.
You could have called it Mare Motrin.
Mare Motrin. Yeah, then I would have had. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no proprietary names. That was what I would try: raspberry leaves, magnesium, and then with or without tryptophan.
SS has a follow-up question. Would the raspberry leaves be an everyday supplement or when the symptoms are present?
I would do every day.
And Fonzie's asks, where do you order, what is it, the Balance EQ?
Stability EQ.
Oh, yeah.
FoxdenEquine.com. Just go to FoxdenEquine.com and you'll see under behavioral, you'll see stability. And stability is raspberry leaves with magnesium. Stability plus is raspberry leaves, magnesium, and tryptophan. And you can get a free sample to try and see if it helps.
When would you know?
Yeah, a few days, up to a week.
Tanya says, I saw your video on giving eggs to horses.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go look at that.
That's caused
60,000 views.
60,000. That's caused quite the controversy. I've been called all kinds of names on that one.
Yeah. Well, people are very American centric too. And so they're like, oh my gosh, but eggs are so expensive. How could you possibly do that? Not thinking that, like, well, first of all, there's a lot of people on farms that
have chickens.
Right.
And not everyone lives in a place where your chickens aren't vaccinated. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
we have the avian
Flu bird
here.
flu.
No one else in the world does.
Because they vaccinated the damn chickens. Right.
So anyway, Jordan asks, any supplements you recommend for a mini with laminitis already on magnesium, copper, and zinc?
Try the Ribo EQ from Foxden Equine. We make one. It might well help. I would definitely give it a try. It's on the table behind you. Ribo EQ, it so far has helped our horses. It's a sugar that lowers blood sugar.
It's a sugar that lowers blood sugar.
No, it's a contradiction. It's a sugar. Ribose is a sugar that lowers blood sugar. It was used by bodybuilders because it helps increase muscle mass, but it has a side effect of lowering blood sugar. So that's what we would use it for.
And it doesn't cause their insulin levels to spike?
No, well, you can feed in a few 28 grams. I mean, not enough. But no, it doesn't. It's not sucrose. It doesn't cause insulin to go up.
Interesting.
Yeah. The thing to remember is that there are many sugars. The one you have to watch out for is glucose, which sucrose, which is broken down to produce glucose. Glucose is the problem, but the fructose doesn't cause the insulin to go up either. It's a glucose that causes the insulin to go up.
As I drink my vanilla latte.
Actually, yeah, she drinks her latte with sugar. Of course, there's sugar in the wine too.
Sugar in a lot of things.
How much sugar is in wine?
Depends on the wine and how dry it is, but it can be as much as 5 or 6%.
If it's very dry.
Very dry, it might be down to 2 or 3.
Oh.
How much sugar is in a Bavarian cream donut?
A lot.
100%.
No, because the rest of it's fat.
Okay, 50-50. Jane KR asks, how much flax can or should you give?
Whole flax, ground flax, or whole flax. I would not give more than 4 ounces a day to a 1,000-pound horse. So it depends how big your horse is, obviously. 2 ounces a day is fine. Very few horses have problems on 2 ounces a day. 4 ounces a day, you're getting close to the upper limit. And I would not personally go over 4 ounces a day. Some people feed 6 and say it works. I would say you're skirting trouble if you're on 6. If it's a big horse, you might be fine. If it's a small horse, that might be too much.
Whole flax, she said.
Yeah, I would say 2 to 4 ounces.
All right. Tony didn't respond to us.
Oh, Tony, we were he's probably running his computer on the background.
Yeah. He's probably not even a horse person.
We're not even paying
He
attention.
just clicked on your video.
Yeah.
It's like, what are these women talking about?
What are these people doing?
Oh, I know the answer to this one. I just read the research paper, but SS asks, what is the current take on ground versus whole flax?
So the take on ground versus whole. Ground is more digestible because you've cracked the seed coat and therefore the enzymes can get at the contents. but it is lower in alpha in the fatty acids you're after, because they oxidize as soon as you grind. They start oxidizing as soon as it is ground, and they reduce over time. So the best to feed is flax you grind at the time of feeding. That's a pain in the ass.
Ground, yeah.
Fresh ground is the best to do. That's your best compromise between the two. Personally, I just feed the flax wet, because I think the horse has teeth and enzymes, and most of the flax will get digested. Not 100%. There will be about 20% passes on through the horse, but then about 20% of everything passes on through the horse. That's what manure is. So whole versus, it's really a question how much trouble it is to grind the flax. If it's a pain in the neck and you don't want to have to deal with it, you feed ground flax. It saves you time and trouble.
It says consuming substances featured in this live could harm your health.
Consuming substances featured in this live. Is that TikTok?
Yeah. It's like just now noticed our glass of wine, I guess. I wonder if it's the other stuff.
Is it the wine or is it the MSM?
I don't know.
Or the flax?
I'm actually wondering that, because it just popped up. I'll take your...
Don't take... Ribo, yeah, don't take the, you can take Ribo EQ, that'll drop your blood sugar
It says
fast.
not for human consumption.
consumption.
Well, yeah, but...
Yeah, don't take MSM unless you take the, the capsulated one.
That's so funny.
Consuming substances. That's funny.
You could, I wonder, could you put it on that table?
What?
No, your wine. And I wonder if it stops giving us that.
Oh, it's TikTok that's saying. I thought this was a comment.
No, it's TikTok. The algorithm is watching us.
Wow, their AI can notice that.
AI can notice that I'm consuming wine, but it's not featured in this live.
And it's not like you're telling people to,
Not telling them to drink it. I'm on a fruit diet. Well, grapes. Well, okay, grape juice. Well, okay, fermented grape juice. I'm on a wine diet.
Fonzie says they kick you off for drinking or smoking.
They do?
Really?
Yeah.
It's fruit juice. It's fruit juice.
Well, we'll just have to put it on the side table.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know like tons of YouTubers who like drink while they stream.
I've never seen one smoke, but yeah, I'm thinking that drink while they stream. Maybe it should be in a mug.
Yeah.
Jane asks, I'm not even drinking. I had heard that giving whole flax can help reduce worm burden because it gets gooey.
I don't think the worms care. If you have a worm burden, I don't think feeding whole flax will do anything to stop it. You'll need to feed something that actually kills the worms. Believe me, the GI tract is not the most hospitable place in the world, and worms live there very happily. So no, I'm sorry. That would be great, wouldn't it? But no, it doesn't work that way.
Bailey asks, can horses consume raw soybean plants?
No, do not feed raw soybeans to horses. Do not eat raw soybeans.
Don't let them graze soybeans.
Do not let them graze soybean plants. They will kill you and the horse. Well, they won't kill you quickly. That's not true. They will make you pretty darn sick. And if you eat enough of it, it will kill you. It contains a phytase, and it's pretty damaging and can end up with a lot of liver problems.
Fonzie says about the TikTok banning us, says, well, it's China.
It is China, yeah. Who knows?
Are they teetotalers?
No, they have a lot of alcohol in China, don't they?
Well, I would
but they
think
have
so.
fermented rice.
Yeah.
And fermented, yeah.
Like almost every culture has
some kind
of alcohol.
So I was reading an archaeological paper, and they were talking about these one of the digs they were doing in Jordan or Babylon or somewhere. Anyway, they had found this tomb, and went back, I don't know how many thousands of years, and they found these containers in the bottom in the tomb, and they analyzed the contents of the containers, and they said, of course, it was fermented barley.
Oh, beer.
It was beer. The first things humans did when they got cereals was ferment them.
Well, they didn't have refrigerators. What do you expect?
Right.
Well, they kind of did.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had
Depends on what
root
part of
cells.
the world you lived in.
Yeah, that's true.
Humans have fermented everything that has anything fermentable in it
Yes.
in an effort to make alcohol.
Well, and I think also like water sources were sometimes questionable.
Oh yes, oh yeah, very much so. In fact, the American Indian has no alcohol dehydrogenase in their liver, and the old myth about the Wild West that the American Indian could not handle liquor was absolutely true. They literally enzymically could not handle liquor because the white man had evolved in cities where the water was really bad. And the people who drank alcohol at each meal were much less likely to get
Waterborne
illnesses than the people or they had to drink tea where they boil the water or drink alcohol. If they drank plain water, they got waterborne illnesses. The American Indian is living in a culture where the water sources are clean and pure. They're not contaminated with sewage and with other humans. And so they never needed to develop alcohol dehydrogenase because they didn't need the alcohol to make their water drinkable. So yeah, they definitely, one of the things that alcohol did was enable us to drink water sources that were less than ideal. You know, when you go to, anyone who's ever been to St. Augustine, Florida, you get to the St. Augustine, there's the Fountain of Youth, and it's a spring, comes out of the ground. And the story goes that Ponce de Leon was exploring, and he gets to St. Augustine, and they find this spring, and he tasted the water, and he pronounced it clear and pure and beautiful. And they were able to empty the barrels on the ship and refill them with this water from this spring and declared it to be the Fountain of Youth. Well, I tasted a glass of that water. It is nasty. And all I can say is, I don't know what the dickens they were drinking on that ship. If they thought that was great. They thought that was great. Yeah. All things are relative.
That was very interesting, says Bailey and Fonzie.
They were probably drinking Polywog water.
Oh yeah, that water had things in it. I'm sure there was things living in that water that they were drinking. That's why sailors drank so much rum.
Yeah,
was because they had to literally.
It was cleaner than the water.
Cleaner than the water, yeah.
So funny. Okay.
How are we doing?
Let's do last minute questions.
All right, last minute questions, people. We're coming to the end. I wish we had more people on YouTube. I'll get there. I'll get my platform right one of these days. And spread the word. I hope you all come back. And don't forget to send us the last questions before we break off for the evening.
So do you save the YouTube lives? So they'll still be on the internet and we can rewatch
Yeah, you can
them.
see them later if anybody interested. And they want to know about St. Augustine and water sources and what have you.
People actually do watch them though.
Yeah, they do. Amazing.
I think next step though is getting a podcast.
A podcast. Now, explain the difference. You can do it after. And then
It was an ad.
Oh. Well,
audio only, no video.
Oh, okay.
Some podcasts now have video too.
Well,
They started out as audio only.
Thank you. I will have more questions for later. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Love these lives. Oh, Fonzie asked, how often are you live?
As often as we can get organized to do it, Fonzie.
It's usually, not on a regular schedule.
It's not a regular schedule. We're very free spirit, freewheeling about this. Usually on a Sunday evening, unless we have something more important to do.
Well, yeah, it's probably half of the Sundays at 7.
About half Sundays at 7. Next Sunday we won't be because you'll be in Baltimore.
Yes.
Correct. We won't be next Sunday, I'm afraid, because Dee Dee is in Baltimore dancing.
We kind of do it more so in the winters, don't we? I feel
we
like
have
we do.
done. Yeah, we've been a little bit hit and miss, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, just keep your eyes open. We'll be back.
We should do it more regularly because then people kind of come.
This is our 3rd week in a row.
Right. You were away.
I'm like, and you missed all the ones that we did in July as well because you were at 4 shows.
July? No.
Did we do any in July?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Or
didn't do
June.
that many horse shows this year.
Or June. Was it June?
might have been June.
I don't think I didn't do any horse shows in June.
I don't know. There was some you missed that you were away.
I might have been working or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you missed a lot. John says, what kind of wine are you drinking?
I am drinking Merlot,
From a
darling,
box.
from a box, the black box, that you get at the supermarket store.
Push the button.
Push the button, fills the glass. Cool. I like
Right.
Merlot.
Yeah. Merlot is great. John says, my favorite. Great. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Good to see you again. Well, we didn't see you. Good to hear from you all again. Save up your questions. In 2 weeks, we'll be back. Maybe.
No,
Maybe.
Probably.
probably.
Take care. Happy riding. Happy trails.
That's right. All right. Okay, so we had 800 last time?
Yeah.
187 tonight.
Oh, went down, huh?
Way down.
Mm.
We got more views than 93% of live creators.
That's terrifying. How many do they get? 2 on YouTube.
20.
Yeah, last time it was 98%. We were better than 98% or something. But this worked really well. The video, it looks awesome on
Okay.
YouTube. Just no one was there.
All right, but it can be, you keep it. And
Yeah. You just don't have an audience there yet.